necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
Yah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yah, our Elohim, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yah, our Elohim, as he has commanded us. Praise you, Father Yah.
I will not have any other Elohim before you, nor bow down to any graven images too. I won't take the name of Yah, my Elohim, in vain. I'll do. Remember the Sabbath day, sanctify it, keep it holy. Honor your father and mother, because that's what Yah told me.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. That's right, y'all.
It may go well with you. I'll
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Yes, right, y'all. That's a Yehonatan Dawit with you here, live in studio. Honored pleasure to be here with you this morning. Last week's broadcast was pre-recorded. Thanks, Jason, for getting that done for me. And as I had told you last week, I had left straight from Morgan State to the studio to pre-record it. I came back from the lynching in Maryland memorial project, who the president is Will Schwartz. He had a presentation there at Morgan State, so I was there last week, and I am pleased to say that I was able to contact Mr. Schwartz, who is the president of the project, and I want to, he is planning to be here on the broadcast. I also contacted Dr. David Fakunli. David Fakunli. He is the acting chair of the Maryland Commission on Truth and Reconciliation. And I do have a scheduled appointment with him in about 3 weeks. He wants to be live in the studio, he said, to discuss this memorial project. But that opening song that I had, and isn't it beautiful? And we're going to close with that too. The first 5 commandments were sung on there. Hopefully we get the last 5 in. Just listen to the words of it, because it's just the singing of the 10 commandments. See, if all of us, me, you, us, we, just treated one another the way we want to be treated, there will be no need for activism, for any rules and laws to moderate immorality. All the anger and energy that we spew against one another, all the evil that we see headlining all the news every day, in all the papers, in all the magazines, all the strong sermons we need every Shabbat and even on Sundays would go away. You'll wake up tomorrow morning already in heaven if you just do one thing. And this is not religion. This is not having to follow a certain religious order. And that is to you treat me the way you want me to treat you. That's it. Because if we do that, no one is going to rape your daughter, because you don't want nobody, you're not going to rape nobody else's daughter. No one is going to shoot your son because you're not going to shoot anybody else's son. There will be justice because you're going to treat another man not based on his supposed skin color, his background, or his history, but based on the way you want to be treated yourself. No one wants to come home and see their wife ravaged. No one wants to go to the parking lot and see their car gone. No one wants to have your food poisoned or laced or anything. Then if you have the authority and power to do that to someone else, you would likewise treat them the way you want to be treated. What we have, 7 billion people on the earth? Every man doing to others as you have them doing to you. And I can drop the mic and walk off right now. You see, but unfortunately, we don't have people like that. Not enough. So you have things like lynchings going on still. Oh, you thought that was ancient history? No. And you still have people who are trying to give us memorials to recognize atrocities that have befallen mankind by other men throughout the histories. About a year ago, I did about 3 weeks talking about lynchings, and it's something different when you have someone who has more cachet, because a brother just telling the truth, laying down the bricks as best he can, lightly regarded. But you get a Jewish man with all the history that goes with that. The whole world recognizes the Jew as the people of the book. They have the history, they have the support. So he can step up and speak and get heard. And he is saying that there is some reconciliation needs to be done. So I wouldn't surprise him. So he'll know where I'm coming from. And I do support the project, and I ask you do too. I've said this several times on the broadcast. I've given monies and still plan on giving some monies, and I will talk about it here. And I hope, like I said, he is planning on, once he comes back, I think he's out of the country right now, to be on this program. I had several questions that I had emailed to him to tell him, listen, this is where I'm coming from, and this is what I'm going to be asking you. This is Yehonathon Dawit with you here, Yahweh for Christians at gmail.com, 443-306-3518. Here's question number 1. And I sent this to him. Please explain your motivation for this cause. I do want to know, what is this Jewish man, what is his motivation for a cause of people that don't look like him? Then the next question was, do you understand the sensitivities of the sons and daughters of the lynched towards whites and Jews? Those sensitivities being this, that you have Jewish people rallying for a black cause at a black forum. You have black leaders would not be given the same consideration to rally the Jewish cause at a Jewish forum. And black victims naturally being suspicious of whites and Jews who historically have been the villain, but now play the hero role for the black people's plight. You see, about 27 years ago, a long time ago, or at least a quarter of a century, I did go to Baltimore University. For learning of Hebrew. And I doubt very seriously if I could have gone there and was given the platform at the auditorium to speak on their behalf for something that they think they deserve or something they have been wronged by. For instance, the Jews legitimately won the war, not once but twice. 1964, they got lands, and they are constantly battling and being in political process of giving up more land that they have legally won in war. So what if I wanted to go up and get on a platform that we all support the Jewish plight, that they have all of the land of Palestine that they won in war? That's a legitimate argument. If I was a Jewish man, I'd be upset, and I was living in Israel, that I keep giving up land that I won in legally in war. I thought if I can get that platform, but we have a Jewish brother, and I thank him very much, on a platform at a HBI speaking for me, for my cause. So that's a legitimate question I want to ask. You know, how is it that you can do that for us, but we cannot turn it around? That you will get heard before I will get heard. That's a legitimate question. I tell you, it was an amazing thing to behold. Here I am at the Student Center at Morgan State on Shabbat, and the place is full of yarmulkes and tzitzits. And they're supposed to be at the synagogue. And the seats are full of people speaking for me, for my people, and my cause on Shabbat, no less. But that's not all the questions I have for my man. What is the Jewish community's role in the lynching history of America? What is your role in that? I asked him that. And then finally, I said, what are your thoughts to blacks who say the answer to our plight is number one? And I'm very thankful of having memorials because we should never forget. Just like we're told about the Holocaust, the Jewish Holocaust, we should never forget, and we shouldn't. That evil will seek the genocide of one group of peoples for no other reason other than hate. So we shouldn't forget that. Likewise, we should forget those who look like me's genocide or attempted genocide. So we should not forget that. Yet we're told quite often, hey, just leave it alone. We tired of hearing that. We tired of hearing that. Leave it alone. No, I'm not going to forget. So here's my final question to Mr. Suarez, Will Suarez, who I'm very thankful for, is that what what are your thoughts to blacks who say the answer to our plight is this? Number one, recognition from the world of our true history, our true ancient history, and land given to us for complete autonomy to govern our lives as has been afforded to the Jewish diaspora. He did respond, I think, the very next day and say, yes, he will be honored to come on to the broadcast and to discuss this. And I'm very humbled by it. I hope we can get that date. We don't have a firm date yet. He's a very busy man. But yes, how about that last question? Because anywhere on the four corners of the earth, a Jew has a place to go to that he can call his home. And the laws of the land are made by them and for them without interference from anyone else. The world recognizes their borders, and it does change and go back and forth as they have, through the course of political reasons. But they don't have to answer anybody for their laws. We don't have such a place. We don't have such a place. A Hebrew does not have a place where he can say, hey, this is our land, the world recognizes it, and this is what we're going to go by. Those 10 Commandments, you heard the first 5 in the opening song. And this is what we're going to go by. We're going to raise our children like thus. We're going to treat our wives like thus. We're going to work like thus. And no one can say anything about it. No one has a right to come in and change that. We don't have that. Your home found our week with you here. Yahweh for Christians and gmail.com 443-306-3518. Ancient history, is that what it is? I think I was reading somewhere the United States, I don't know the exact date, but they say that the last official hanging of us was in the 50s, something like that. That's not true. That's not true. Just a brief, it didn't take long to do some research on our people still being hung and lynched. And I also want to give thanks to David Johnson Jr., who I call Dawid the sequel. He gave me some names this about 2 years ago. I said, "What? Are you kidding me? That stuff's still happening?" That caused me to remember that. And so now, after going to that project last week, I said, "Hey, you know what? I remember this is still going on." Because I remember David telling me this a few years ago. And then he gave me a few other names. Let me read a list of names to you. Michael Donald of Mobile, Alabama. Gregory Johnson, who went to San Jose University. Ferris Golden, Palm Beach, Florida. Kendrick Johnson of Valdosta, Georgia. Lennon Lacey, Bladensboro, North Carolina. Ryan Singleton, who I believe is from Atlanta but was found in Mojave Desert, lynched. Sandra Bland, we remember her, in Prairie View, Texas. What happened to her in Prairie View, Texas? Roosevelt Chapman III, Greensboro, Georgia. Michael George Smith Jr., Piedmont Park, Atlanta. Kendra Shanice Reed, Lexington, North Carolina. Otis Bird, Port Gibson, Mississippi. Ben Kiata, that was in one of those counties in Washington. I think it's, I don't want to brutalize the name, but this is just 12 names of men and women, young men and women, with spurious deaths. Spurious deaths. The oldest, and this is current, the oldest one that of the list that I just gave you was Michael McDonald. That was in March the 21st, 1981, lynched. Now, of course, that's not the official line. That's not the official narrative given to us. In all of these deaths, they're called homicide, suicide. And I'm not going to have time to give you the backdrop on the stories of these. I might do one or two. I might do some of the backdrops. I got there's a narrative behind all of these names. None of them, not one, to any right mind thinking person, will be concluded as suicide. None of them. Some of these bodies were found without their organs. The organs were taken. See, what resides in you is something that you do not know how valuable it is. More valuable than gold. It resides in you and your organs. Which is why thousands, tens of thousands of us are showing up or not showing all over the world missing, taken. I had Brother Joe Carter on here a few months ago talking to us about that. It's worse than what we realize. George Johnson was 20 years old. November 2008, lynched. Ferris Golden, 13-year-old man, Palm Beach, Florida, in April of '03. Kendrick Johnson, 17 years old, in 2013. We're not talking about ancient history. This is recent history. Lennon Lacey was 17 years old, August 2014. Bland, we saw what happened to her. She was hung in prison. under the custody of the sheriff's department. And she committed suicide. Anybody that knows anything about Sandra Bland knows that woman did not commit suicide. She was an activist, strong, powerful woman who loved herself and her people. Roosevelt Chapman. That happened in 2015 in Greensboro, Georgia. Michael George Smith, 22 years old. See, our people, and that was in Atlanta in 2016 of June. We don't have, we're used to struggles. We're used to hard times. I can sit here and spend easily my whole broadcast talking to you about my hard times growing up. Yet never once, not even 1 second of once, did I even think about committing suicide. Because my parents grew up hard and tough, their parents grew up hard and tough, and I have a history of family on both sides having a difficult time in life just to eat. I can give you some embarrassing stories of what we had to go through to eat. Just to eat. And I'm here today, strong. My grandparents went through some difficult times just to eat every day, just to get food. I don't want to go off to the side, but I can give you some heart-wrenching, tearful stories about what I had to go through to eat, what my grandparents had to go through to eat, that they told me they had to go through. Yet we don't have no suicide in our families. None of these people committed suicide. That's preposterous. Kendra Shanice Reed was 20 years old. April 28th of 2017. That's not ancient history. That's current. Oldest birth was 2015. Kiara was January the 9th, 2017, 18 years old. We are still being lynched. This is not something that you go to the history books and say, oh, this is how it used to be in America. You are hated. You are hated by people who, evidently, with your organs being missing, want something that you have that they don't have. Yet all we got to do is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's all you got to do. And we will have a utopia outside your door tomorrow morning. Yehonutan Week with you here, Yahweh for Christians at gmail.com. Let's read a couple of these backdrop stories. Roosevelt Chapman III. Police twice questioned Roosevelt Chapman III about the recent death of a white woman in the mall in a small rural town of Greensboro, Georgia. After interrogating him, police released Champion without filing any charges. And his family said he seemed unbothered by the events and happy about his new job. Less than a week later, he was found hanging from a tree using a plastic zip tie. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation ruled the death a suicide, but his family still doesn't accept that conclusion. I'm angry because I don't have answers, said one of the Champion sisters, Miranda Wright. He'd do a lot of things, but he wouldn't have harmed himself. You think it has anything to do with the white woman? See, that's personal for me because I have a good buddy of mine who's dead, shot and killed by a white police officer, female, that he was dating. And I warned him about it for years. I told him. And she's, as far as I know, working today. Because she has all the cachet, he has nothing. That's just one. That's just one example of someone who they saying committed suicide when there's no question that there was no suicide involved. Let me get another one. Every last one of these, the stories are incredible. Every last one. Ben Kiata. Nothing about the 18-year-old Ben Kiata's death makes sense to his family. His body was found half frozen, hanging by a rope from a tree branch 30 feet above the ground on January 9th, 2017. His feet were just 2.5 feet from the ground, but his body apparently was not seen when the same area was previously searched. The circumstances were so strange, even the Snohomish County, Washington coroner changed the manner of death for Kiata from hanging to undetermined. So at least we got one that's undetermined. The Muslim teen's family reported Kiata's missing 6 weeks before his body was discovered and said he had no history of depression or mental health issues. Yet, after reviewing the case, the FBI found that the aspiring doctor was not murdered and closed the case. So he was not murdered. They closed the case. So I was just born yesterday, so we're stupid. So your life doesn't mean anything. But the elements of your life, they mean something. That's why they're taking them from you. Every one of these cases are spurious. Ferris Golden, he was dating a white police officer. April 28th, 03. Police found him hanging from a tree in his yard by a bed sheet from his bedroom. Autopsy revealed that he had 3.334% blood alcohol level and trace of cocaine in his system, but there was unanswered questions. His relatives insisted that his hands were tied behind his back and wanted to know how he could climb a 15-foot tree, tie a noose, and hang himself while high on cocaine and with almost 4 times the legal limit of alcohol in his body. Was this retribution for dating the white daughter of a police chief investigator? Why were there no grass or dirt stains on his shoes? Police still ruled that the 32-year-old Golden's death was a suicide. Wow. And you believe that? And you believe that? See, this is not old history. This is still current stuff. I can give you all these stories are amazing. And remember, I did not do no deep research. I got some names from David Johnson. I looked up some other names on my own. Some of these you can remember, like everybody remembers Sandra Bland. No, in the world she committed suicide in the cell. And how was if she was on suicide watch, would they later lied about it and put down documentation all written down at the same time they was watching her? Why was she in the last cell on the end by herself? You know, this stuff is what causes us, men like me, who believe in the name of the Most High Yahweh Shua, to do what we do. And there's only a few people like us. Only a few. Everyone else is out there telling you to vote your way out of this nonsense. You're not going to vote your way out of being lynched. This is systemic and it is genetic. It's ingrained and it is inbred. For someone to hate you without a cause. To hate you for no good reason. When all you got to do is treat you like you want to be treated yourself. That's all you got to do. I think I got time to read one more. And all these are just sad. They cause you to wake up and take life as precious. Take it more seriously. Stop being silly and stupid. Take life seriously. It is a gift. You are made after the image of the Most High. Be thankful, be grateful, be humble. Go to work. Do your best job. You should be the best employee at your job. And if you're not, strive to be. Then go home to the one you with. Love the one you with. Take care of your children. Don't get caught up in all this nonsense. Your life is precious. And you have something in you that the rest of the world want. And that's your melanin. That's your melanin. More valuable than gold. Lemon Lacey. A teenager wearing shoes a size and a half too small. And not his own. with someone else's belt tied around his neck, was found hanging from a swing set before his first start of the football season in August of 2014 in Bladensboro, North Carolina. Police identified the body as a 17-year-old Lemon Lacey, even though a white male had threatened that he was going to kill and hang Lemon, and despite the fact that the teen had been warned about his interracial relationship with a 31-year-old woman, state, local, and federal investigators, against the wishes of his family, ruled Lemon's body death a suicide. Stop this. Stop it. Oh, man. And you wonder why I'm here. I don't care about this guy. 3 people listen. I'm going to be here because I'm going to keep it real. Spiritually, righteously real according to the Torah. Not like all the crap you're hearing on these airwaves and everywhere else. You ain't going to vote your way out of this. Go to the Most High Yahweh Shua. Because that's who you left, and that's who you betrayed, and that's why you out here face down, butt up, mass incarcerated, and massively unemployed. And there's no way out of it but going back to him whom you left in the first place. Let's hear the rest of that song. Christians@gmail.com. And listen to the words of the song.